around town to take care of some errands, you can do so by renting a Toyota. That's right. You can rent a Toyota. They got hourly rates available. They've got everything here at Bill Penny Toyota. While your car's getting serviced, you can just cruise on over to the showroom. You cruise on over to the lot, take a look at all of the nice, shiny new Toyotas and all the used vehicles, the certified used vehicles here at Bill Penny Toyota. Great to be with you on a Wednesday morning. 256-576-4977. That's the number to the phone lines. We can get you through this morning. And just to keep up with tradition, 31 days, 4 hours, 58 minutes, and 3 seconds away from the start of the college football season. And for Alabama fans, that means a little bit something different this year. In a good way.
Loads up, looks long, throws, end zone, touchdown! Alabama! Devontae Smith! Touchdown, Alabama! And the Crimson Tide has once again ascended to the top of the college football mountain. Their 5th national championship in 9 years, their 17th overall. And for Coach Nick Saban, a career 6th national championship, a number matched only by the legendary Paul Bear Bryant. Alabama is back as the champion of college football.
That was the call that you heard right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Alabama knocking off Georgia for that national championship. Of course, Eli Gold on the call for that, and he told your good friend Ryan Fowler the day before. He told Paul Feinbaum yesterday that he was going to be back, and here is Paul in his words.
And I'm thrilled again that I'm coming back as well. It's been a long year and a half. I don't mind telling you, it's been a long year and a half. But I beat cancer. I got the all clear, and I'm looking forward to the start of the season.
That was Paul Feinbaum on our airways yesterday, talking to Eli Gold about coming back, and he is indeed back this year for the voice of Alabama football.
Yeah, we've all been expecting it. He was, from the health standpoint, he was much sicker than everybody knew, as far as, because nobody knew about the cancer. I mean, there was rumors about some other conditions due to diabetes and stuff like that had been affecting him. But and then that was part of it. But then they found the cancer, which made everything much more serious. Yep. Made the recovery much longer. And so Eli had to take his time, and of course was not back even for the A-Day game in the spring, because I think when this all first started happening, that was the first thought, was that he would be back in the spring, but he was not. It was Chris Stewart still, and so Chris in his stead took over last year the entire football season, including the previous A-Day, so he's done the last 2 spring games, and that's kind of where the year-and-a-half reference comes from Eli. And then he did the entire football season through the bowl game, did basketball and baseball, hosted Hey Coach and all the other things that he does. So it was a lot on Chris's plate, but he certainly did a great job, and Roger Hoover picked up in his stead as well. And so now it'll be the return to more normalcy. Mm-hmm. But again, Eli will be back, should be back in the side. I think he's going to do a couple of trial runs from what I understand. I think
he's going to do a couple scrimmages.
Alabama's got 2 scrimmages in the fall, and I believe they're going to be on August the 19th and then August the 26th. Now, Alabama hasn't released their fall camp schedule as of yet. They're probably going to do that in the coming days, because I think it starts – my suspicion is it's probably by the end of next week, around Thursday, but they'll release all that. And then Eli will do a couple, probably with John Parker Wilson, a couple of dry runs for those scrimmages.
Here is Eli talking about everything that he went through.
It turned out that the medicine they were giving me to get my legs working again, that medicine and all the steroids, they were masking what was really wrong with me, which was indeed cancer. They finally did, I guess, about in December, this past December, after going through 6 or 7 months of not knowing what the heck it was. This past December, I got a terrible case of hiccups, and it's not one hiccup and then 20 seconds later another hiccup. They were one after the next, after the next, after the next. I couldn't even catch my breath. They did tests for that, and they found out that I had large cell type B lymphoma and that there was a cancerous growth in my esophagus. And that was Christmas Eve. That was Christmas Eve of last year. And then New Year's Eve, 8-9 days later, I took my first round of chemotherapy, and thank the good Lord, I am healthy now. I have been given the all clear, and I'm looking forward to the start of the season.
There you go. Eli Gold on the Paul Feinbaum Show, which you can hear weekdays right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Going into detail there on a little bit of what happened to him, and we are thankful that Eli Gold will be back. What did he say? Over more than 30 years?
Since 88. He's been the voice of the Tide since 1988 when he took over following Paul Kennedy moving on. After Paul Kennedy took over for John Forney, the great John Forney, after he came out of retirement for a short period of time. And then, like I said, Paul Kennedy took over, and then Eli Gold came in, and he's been with the Crimson Tide ever since in 1988. So he's been the longtime voice for this generation of fans. He's really been the only voice. And Chris Stewart gave us last year, but Eli has been the guy that's so synonymous. And I mean, he was the longtime voice, and he already had been of NASCAR when he took over for Alabama. And really, he's lent his voice to many different things. He's done play-by-play Birmingham Bulls hockey, Birmingham Squadron basketball. He was for many years, for close to 10 or so, when he first came to the Crimson Tide Sports Network. He was also the voice of basketball. He's done baseball, but on television. He had been before this health scare. He'd done a lot of stuff on SEC Network Plus for Alabama. Once he moved on from NASCAR. But he's also, he's done, if you just think about every sport there is out there, pretty much Eli's done it in some form or fashion. He's been around many, many years, but he became synonymous with really two things. NASCAR, because when he was doing it, it was at its apex, like as far as popularity.
And the radio version of NASCAR was fantastic on MRN. Oh my goodness! Listening to that was
NASCAR's changed a lot because it's not the same. But and then of course he took over Alabama football, and of course when he took it over, he's been very blessed. He's done 7 national championships. Starting in 1992, and then when Nick Saban came to town. So, and it's interesting because when he took over as voice, it had been about 9 years since they won the last one in 1979, and they won those back-to-back. So, but he's been a part of a ton of championships. Yeah. He of course, also. And I think he's even done, if you go back and look at his career, he's probably done some Olympic stuff. So he's, like I say, pretty much, if you want to think of something, if Eli Gold's done it, he pretty much has. I mean, he's done some NFL. He's done NFLs on Sunday in the past. So Eli is very versatile and has had a great career.
All right, that's how we get you going on a Wednesday morning, 256-576-4977. Love to hear from you on a Wednesday morning. It is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone's Talking Ball, Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. The other college football note, the SWAC Conference had their media day yesterday, and Alabama A&M has been tabbed to finish 4th in the SWAC East Division. FAMU, Florida Atlantic, they have been tabbed to win the East, or FAMU.
Florida A&M.
Florida A&M, yeah. Why do I want to say Florida Atlantic? Florida A&M has been tabbed to win the East. Jackson State second, Alabama State third, Mississippi Valley State fifth, Bethune-Cookman sixth. In the West, Southern has been tabbed to win the SWAC West, followed by Alcorn, Texas Southern, Grambling, and Prairie View, and Arkansas Pine Bluff. So that was held yesterday down there in Birmingham. I believe we're through. I believe every conference has had their media days. The ACC wrapping up yesterday. I believe they wrapped up yesterday. I believe it was all one day there. So that is news and notes from around this area. Connell Maynard's group tabbed to finish third.
So Alabama A&M, I know they didn't have the year they wanted last year, so they picked. So
fourth, my bad.
Yeah, I was going to say, picked to finish fourth, but like I said, there's nothing more worthless than preseason predictions. Even though I think if you're going to predict something, predicting the order of finish of the teams is the proper thing to do. All conference is just a waste of time.
Yeah.
But like I said, but for the teams, it creates conversation, and we'll see. Certainly provides motivation for teams who, if they're underestimated by the media. And most of the time the media don't get it right, and we're part of that, but still. So we'll see.
Wow.
How Connell Maynard and those guys do, but I know they definitely want to bounce back from last year and try to get back to that SWAC championship game and win another SWAC title.
Well, I got to play you this little clip of audio. It's from the American Athletic Conference, and then we're going to hear from Trent Dilfer in a minute here as well later in the show. But Biff Poggi.
Yep.
New head coach at Charlotte.
Yep.
Okay, they've been picked to finish last in their division. Biff Poggi gets up to the podium yesterday to talk Charlotte football. And Biff Poggi only got 3 questions about his team.
Wow.
Here's Biff Poggi's response.
Any other questions for Coach?
That's it? 3 questions? Maybe that's because you have us ranked last. That's all what you think of us. So that we get that message. Thank you.
And actually, it's
so
funny.
There you go.
I've had Coach Poggi on this show, and when he had some kids in Alabama, where he still has Darian Dalcourt from when he was at St. Francis and had a powerhouse program. He put a lot of kids into the college game, and he had already actually spent some time on the staff with Coach Harbaugh, and came back to St. Francis, and then went back to Michigan before getting this opportunity to run the Charlotte program. So he's an interesting story because he's a football guy to the core, but he made a lot of money in private business and was able to kind of start the school over at St. Francis, and because Baltimore's kind of his home area, and they became one of the best teams in the country, kind of like I guess you could say an East Coast version of IMG, where they were drawing players from, all over the country, and also giving an opportunity to some kids in a hard scrabble area, because there's talent in Baltimore, Maryland. It's just, there's in some of the situations, and even where St. Francis was located, not the greatest neighborhood, but Coach helped a lot of kids. He's got, Chris Braswell still at Alabama as well, that came out of that St. Francis program. So it's going to be really interesting to see how he does with that Charlotte program, which is still relatively a new one when it comes to Division I football in Group of 5. But not surprised that Coach would respond that way. He's a very blunt dude and a good guy, and going to be interesting to see if he can make that transition from the high school to the college level. We've seen some coaches do it. Bucky McMillan is doing a great job of it at Samford after what he did at Mountain Brook, but we'll see if Biff Poggi can join that, that I guess, pantheon of guys who try to go from high school to the college level and be successful. I mean, the funny thing is, he was basically a special assistant to Harbaugh, so he didn't coach a position. But he certainly helped their recruiting and helped their player development. And I thought it was an interesting choice when I saw that he was able to get that Charlotte job. So it'll be interesting to see. I bet you something tells me they won't finish last. But
I thought that was funny, though.
There's a lot of people that, first of all, they probably don't know much about his team.
Right.
I bet you they've got one guy that covers the Charlotte beat, probably one. This isn't the SEC. And transfer portal-wise, you haven't seen him practice. You don't know. And so it's a lot of grab bag. And I am surprised that they didn't have more questions about his background and things of that nature and, the decision to come to Charlotte.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have had some more conversation. But
3 questions.
I mean, but, of course, it's the American Athletic Conference, so it's the Bush League. So
there you go.
What do you expect?
All right. Well, you know what's not the Bush Leagues? The Big Ten. When we get back, somebody may not be there. Somebody may not be there for their first 4 games of the year.
We're going to talk about that later in the show, too, with David Cohn.
And it's a national title contender.
And not that David Cohn, David M. Cohn.
Oh, not the David Cohn that threw a perfect game for the Yankees?
No,
oh,
David
man.
Adam Cohn.
All right, let's get a break in. We're live from Bill Penny Toyota on a Wednesday morning.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Sounds like we've got an overturned vehicle in a wreck in Decatur. This one's the 3000 block of Bird Spring. And we had a wreck northbound on the causeway coming out of Decatur right about the boat launch. They should have that one completely clear shortly. And it looks like the bridge repair crew is still in there. They've got the right lane blocked off on the northbound side of Hudson Memorial. They're waiting on concrete to set up there. Someone dies from heart disease every 36 seconds. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue can help you keep your heart healthy. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Your home of the Crimson Tide Sports Network.
You chill out when you're supposed to chill out. You work when you're supposed to work. You don't chill out when you're supposed to be working.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
There you go. Welcome back. Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. We are back on the road once again on a Wednesday morning. Today we're back here at Bill Penny Toyota, sitting out here in the service department, where Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then on Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. They can service your vehicle, take care of all your vehicle needs, and don't forget, they have hourly rental rates available for rent-a-car. You can rent a Toyota. So, Drew, you need to get those tires put on your RAV4 there. Just rent one, and you can cruise around town still. And
well,
you can take in all the sights.
Yeah, I bought my tires, here, so from Toyota, so they're still in good shape, and I get my maintenance here at Toyota, and I also, of course, buy and I've also had it repaired. Gonna have to have it repaired again soon. So certainly their collision department does a great job. They do a great job here, and we always enjoy them hosting us. Usually we're here on Mondays, but we're here on Wednesday. We've been really busy. As everybody knows, we were at SEC Media Days front and center last week in Nashville for pretty much the entire week. And then Monday we had the huge football high school media day, our first ever, and that went off really well. And so we were really happy with that and the professionalism and the feedback we got. And so,
got a lot of good stuff.
It took us, I guess it was a week and a half before we were back in studio yesterday.
That felt weird yesterday, doing one from in there. But
we got back to the studio a little bit and then recharged our batteries, and now we're back out here at our good friends at Bill Penny Toyota.
Well, somebody might be able to come to Bill Penny Toyota during the first 4 games of the season if he feels like it. Michigan football coach Jim Harbaugh and the NCAA. Now, it has not been officially announced, but they are in discussions about a negotiated resolution for a 4-game suspension in the 2023 season. Now, this is all tied to an NCAA recruiting investigation into Michigan, in which Harbaugh faces a level 1 violation. That is the most serious violation that the NCAA has for not cooperating with NCAA enforcement. Now, if you're keeping track, those 4 games would be all at home: East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, and Rutgers. Those would be the first 4 games for the team, which we said yesterday was voted to win the Big Ten East.
Yeah, they are. They've been voted. Our good friend Jake Wimberly picked them to win the national championship. And, it would be the first one, I guess, since 2014 when Ohio State and Urban Meyer won it. So that's the last time a Big Ten team has hoisted the trophy. So that would be, quite an accomplishment for Michigan. It would be, just about 3 short years ago, he was on the hottest of the hot seats because he couldn't beat Ohio State. Now he's beat them twice, and now the media acts like he'll never lose to him again, because that's basically how the media reacts. It's just like there's a lot of people picking LSU to beat Alabama. Alabama won the vote, which kind of mildly surprised me, all the feedback we got in Nashville.
Yeah.
A lot of people came on our show and said LSU. So
Right.
I thought, you voted for LSU, I thought that LSU might win a close vote. I knew it'd be close, but
like I said, I drank the LSU Kool-Aid. I bought into the conversation that was going on.
Now, if
in
Alabama
the Music City.
had stopped him on the 2-point conversion or just made one stop during regulation like they, needed to throughout the ball game, then I think Alabama would have been the favorite. But, again, it doesn't take much to change the media's perception, because last year going in Kelly's first year, I was high on LSU, but a lot of people were not. They had them 5th, 6th, 7th in the division, not really last, but more, around in the lower half of the division. They thought that there was too much of a mess to clean up for Brian Kelly to be good, and they had uncertainty at the quarterback position, but Jaden Daniels stepped up. That's why it's so stupid to pick guys all conference before the season, because you want to know why Jaden Daniels is first team preseason all conference this year? Because there were so many quarterbacks that moved on, including Bryce Young, to the NFL, and he led his team to the division championship last year. So that's why he's getting a lot of up and down. Did I vote for him first team? I did not. I ended up, but we weren't allowed on the ballot to vote. There was only like 5 listed. And it was basically the dudes that are coming back from a year ago. And that's why, I picked Will Rogers, because I still think he's the most productive. Now, I haven't seen him in this new offense for Mississippi State. I still think he's going to be a really good player. I didn't pick them. I mean, I believe they were picked dead last in the poll by the majority of the media. But I'm not falling for that, because every time people pick them last, they never finish last. So that's why I picked them 4th. I was like, because it's a jumble. I mean, we're going to talk to Trey Biddy in a few minutes from hogsports.com. I did pick Arkansas 7th in the West, but I did it, reluctantly, because I really don't know from 3 through 7 how that's going to go. I do think Alabama and LSU are the 2 best teams on paper, but of course, heck, the paper can be burnt if a couple of injuries happen at key spots. But I just think they're the 2 best teams. But then everybody else from 3 through 7, there's a lot of equality there, man.
Right.
It's going to depend on injuries and then kind of the schedule luck in some ways.
So that kind of got us off track a little bit. Does Harbaugh missing those 4 games, is that any big deal?
Whatever.
There?
I mean,
is it?
If you really wanted to make it hurt a little more, you should have said maybe the first 4 Big Ten games. I don't know. I don't know their schedule.
It's East Carolina, UNLV,
I'm just
Bowling
talking
Green,
about
and Rutgers.
the only Big Ten game listed on there. Their Big Ten opener is Rutgers.
Yeah.
So the other 3 are out of conference games. I guess the next 4 would, as far as the next 3 would be their first 4 Big Ten games after Rutgers. But I mean, I think that would sting a little more.
Is that just a toothless thing by the NCAA?
Yes, it's toothless like all their stuff.
Let's go to the phone lines. Wolverine Dan with us this morning. Good morning, sir.
Well, I got 2 things to talk about. Number one, let's talk about the Michigan Wolverines. Listen, my man, let me ask you a question. How do you like your cheeseburger cooked?
Medium well.
Medium rare.
All right, well, there you go. So, that's all this is about, NCAA. Somebody's cheeseburger didn't get cooked good enough, okay?
Yeah.
That's a bunch of fools. Okay, listen, that's okay. Suspend us 4 games. They're not real. I think we're going to be just fine with those 4 games. And then he comes back, and it's going to be Lincoln, Nebraska, and that's where I'll be. That is going to be one heck of a game. We're going to pummel Nebraska, okay, because the kids are going to be motivated. They got their coach back. You watch, okay? Now, second thing, fellas, out of 32 teams in the NFL, my Detroit Lions are ranked 10th, all right? And when I say ranked, meaning odds to win the Super Bowl, we're 22-1, okay? And then you got like a Tennessee Titan team. Believe it or not, I think they went off for 100-1, okay? So that says that people believe in the Lions. Don't you agree?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
The Titans are a complete mess.
Well, I think it's a little bit of both, but I think they obviously, a lot of people think that Detroit could end up winning their division. I mean, they got a lot better last year under Dan Campbell, and they'll have Jamison Williams, not from the jump start because of this stupid gambling thing. And I thought Sean Payton, basically ripping the NFL was correct. I mean, because the NFL keeps partnering with all these, DraftKings and everything else and all this gambling stuff.
Well, they're putting casino sports books inside NFL stadiums.
And then you're suspending your players. I think you need to do a little bit better job of policing everything and getting the message out to me. But it's kind of like you're counting your money because you're getting all these money from these casinos, but then all of a sudden it's talking out of both sides of your mouth, and then you're suspending the players. And so, I mean, maybe fine them. I don't know, because you don't want any kind of you don't want a situation where Alabama went through with Brad Bohannon, where the integrity of the game's in question. Right. But when you start partnering with all these folks, I mean, that's the way it looks.
Well, and in today's world, too, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when you bet on a game, you had to either go to a sports book or you had to find someone to do it.
You can do it from your phone.
Now you just sit and do it from your phone. It's so readily available, so easy to do that I think you got to change with the times a little bit, too.
Right.
I think you did really well in the draft. We picked up those two Bama guys, the defensive back and a great running back that can catch the ball. Great linebacker from Iowa. I mean, we picked and then, of course, the quarterback that has an injured knee, but he's rehabbing, and, boy, he can play. So, I mean, I think we did really well. I'm excited, fellas. I'll be there very soon for a 45-year class reunion, okay? But I'm going to stop by Hollywood Casino and drop some more cash on the Lions because I think I'm going to win my division, and I'm going to put a little extra cash for the NFC Championship. And I'm going to put a little bit of something for the Super Bowl, baby. Wow.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
there you go.
Guys, I know. Listen, I'm telling you, man, it's exciting to be a Lion right now. All these years, and we finally got a general manager, and believe it or not, the owner, little lady, she is just opening up the pocketbook and letting this general manager get the players he needs to get, and we got a coach that is the real deal, okay? And they've showed it at the end of last year, guys, when that game, that playoff game, or that game, that implications to playoffs, before they started, 45 minutes before, Seattle already won their game, and we showed up in Green Bay, in Lambeau, against Rodgers that had to win that game, and we won that game. That says a lot, fellas.
All right. Wolverine Dan, thanks for the phone call there. He's excited. NFL season around the corner. College football around the corner. We have got to get a break in. When we come back, we will talk more college football. Plus, get to your phone calls, 256-576-4977.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly to partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 90s. Heat indices anywhere between 104 and 106 degrees. Maybe an isolated shower, but otherwise it is just going to be an incredibly hot afternoon. Temperatures only drop into the mid 70s as we head into the overnight, early into your Thursday morning. A mostly to partly sunny sky Thursday afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
They've updated that wreck at the 322 I-65 northbound in Morgan County to possible injuries. Just got one on Shields north of Ford Circle. It sounds like a no injury. That one with the overturned vehicle indicators in the 1000 block of Bird Spring, maybe a minor injury there. And had one northbound on the causeway near the boat launch. It should be gone. D&L Refrigeration repairs heating and air conditioning units for homes and businesses. D&L 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Philip Love of not only Eagle Installation, now he represents Eagle Companies. Eagle through the years have added several companies to help individuals or builders through their construction renovation process. Eagle is known to represent quality, efficiency, and professionalism. Philip, I know you do insulation, but do you do masonry?
We do.
Do you do grading, erosion control, and dirt hauled off?
We do.
Do you do afterpaint, which includes shower doors, mirrors, shelving blinds, and bath hardware?
Yes, we do, Wes.
Do you do landscaping and irrigation?
Yes, we do.
So basically, Eagle can help you all along your process of building your house or doing renovations. So do you do plumbing?
We do not, Wes, but we can find somebody to do it.
Just give them time. They'll be there. Anyway, call Eagle Insulation at
256-755-1556.
Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Call Eagle today.
Thanks, Wes.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. If you've been injured and need a lawyer right now, do you know who you really get?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. You want to talk to your lawyer. My clients talk to me.
And me. I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're the ones that you talk to.
And we're the ones who handle your personal injury case.
And we'll take care of it.
The Lackey Law Firm. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
There you go. Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Download that app today so you can have us 24/7. We're at Bill Penny Toyota, where they're not open 24/7, but they're open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5. They can service your vehicle here at Bill Penny Toyota. Yesterday, U.S. Senators Joe Manchin and Tommy Tuberville from here in this state of Alabama introduced another bipartisan bill regarding name, image, and likeness. This one, in summary, would make any state law that includes revenue sharing illegal. It would also allow the NCAA to prohibit certain types of deals, such as those with gambling and alcohol. The NCAA would be in charge of enforcing and investigating such rules, but it would have the support of the Federal Trade Commission, which would handle the registration of agents and collectives, as well as the National Public NIL Deal Registry. It would guarantee health insurance for sports-related injuries for uninsured student athletes for 8 years following graduation from a four-year institution. The one thing in this one that they proposed is athletes would only be able to transfer and play right away after completing their first 3 years of academic eligibility. Exceptions would include death in the player's family or a head coach or position coach leaving said school.
Well, that happens all the time, so it would still just basically be the same thing, almost year-to-year kind of thing. But, yeah. I mean, I do think that they should only be able to transfer once in between the time before they graduate. And if they graduate, they can go wherever they want. And that would be the second move, but and then have immediate eligibility. I mean, otherwise, I think they should have to go through the waiver process. It should be very difficult to move on to a third school in 3 years or whatever, and just continue to shop your services and not be satisfied with where you are in the depth chart and things of that nature. But we'll see. I mean, I think there's some good things with Tommy Tuberville and certainly Joe Manchin came up with, and that's what they need to be focusing on. The NC Double Dumb doesn't need to be worrying about Jim Harbaugh putting cheese on a burger. That's already in the past. That's already happened. Who gives a rat's ass if he coaches or not in the first 4 games? Boo-hoo-hoo. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree.
You need to be worried about the transfer portal and getting this fixed and getting the Wild West,
under
turned
control.
around.
And, get it in the stable, so to speak.
Yeah, you need to. That's what the future of college football and college athletics as a whole, and trying to, hold on to your coaches. And what I mean by that is, you're already seeing several, the Coach K's, Roy Williams's, and Jay Wright's. That's just on the basketball side.
Football side is coming. There'll be guys retire.
Because they're tired of dealing with it, and they're tired of dealing with the transfer portal. They're tired of dealing with NIL. This stuff needs to be regulated. I think kids should be paid, and I think get a piece of the pie, and I think kids should be able to transfer once, even if their coach doesn't leave, and be immediately eligible. But they shouldn't be able to, end up at some of this lunacy where you see a guy end up at 4 schools in 5 years or 5 in 6 years. Well, because I think we've only got maybe one more year of this COVID stuff, eligibility, but it's just nuts because, I do agree with Wes Neighbors, our patriarch who hosts the evening show. In many cases, though, some of these kids need to understand the NFL's watching, and you're hurting yourself if you transfer a bunch of times because they're going to start delving into your background like, why is this kid transferring 4 times,
You're
3
creating
times.
red flags.
You're creating red flags with, is he a problem child? Are the people around him, an issue? So that's what happens with the transfer portal.
So when we were at SEC Media Day, we talked about another bill or another we've talked about a number of bills that have been proposed. We talked about the second one. Just keep in mind, over the past 2, 3 years, 4 years, there have been over a dozen NIL bills proposed in Congress, bipartisan bills. The number of bills to even advance past the initial step of the legislative process has been 0.
Well, I understand that, but eventually something's going to
get through.
Yes, something's going to have to happen because there's going to be too much hell raised, and Nick Saban's a lot more powerful than some of these doof brains in some of these college. Because guess what? College football makes a lot more money than some of these knuckleheads in Congress.
Right.
And guess what? College football is so important that some of these congressmen might not get reelected if they screw up. College football to the point, and the name, image, and likeness, and everything else, and people are not spending money, not going to college football games. Guess what? That could that could reach up to their level, and then they end up without their jobs.
You think it's that? You think
absolutely,
that can happen?
Absolutely. College football and college athletics is very important. It makes a lot of money, Scott.
Oh no, I know the basketball tournament, the college football playoffs, and it is a billion-dollar industry.
It is, and it's very important. And so, the quicker you deal with it, then the quicker you can move on to other things. And there are much more important things like the economy in this country,
right?
National, international relations, national security, all this stuff. But it just needs to be dealt with because it's a big part of everything. And when you have guys, because look, man. Let me ask you a question. Do you think who's more powerful in the state of Alabama, Kay Ivey or Nick Saban?
Well, that would be Nick Saban, and that's why Nick Saban went to Washington D.C. already.
That's right.
To advocate for this bill, and he's not the only one. There's been several high-profile coaches that went with Coach Saban to speak there on the Hill because they're urging Congress to get something done. They want something done. When the coaches are telling you that it's broken.
Yeah.
They want it fixed. They need it fixed. Then there's a problem.
And even you got even guys like that I don't respect, like Dirtneck and some of those others, or even Jimbo. They're even saying that there needs to be some guardrails to it because he's already gotten his. He's on the hot seat because of it, because he already mismanaged it, and and his locker room was a disaster last year, and that's why they were as talented as they were, but they ended up 5-7 because there's too many guys on different pages, and so that'll continue to happen.
Different payrolls.
That's what I'm saying. You can't. It's not. It's what Nick Saban continued to say. It's not sustainable, and that was really his message before last season.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what started the whole thing with he and Jimbo, and then some other people complaining. But it's the world we live in. But everything evolves and changes, and who would have thought 15 years ago we'd even have NIL? I certainly when Ed O'Bannon and those guys started that process, it took a long time, but they finally got it off the ground, and it's finally happening.
People thought it was just getting paid for a video game, honestly. I mean, it was college football.
The sad part of it is like, but look, see how quickly it evolved and ran off the rails.
Yeah.
Name, image, and likeness, when you talk about it, that's because your name, image, and likeness is worth a lot of money. You've played well. But it should be on the college level. You know what I'm saying?
It was for players having jerseys.
Yeah.
Being
getting
sold with your number
because of what you're doing for the university, the said university. It's not supposed to turn into a collective, and then we're going to pay you in high school for coming over here, and your mom's going to have a Louis Vuitton purse, and you're going to go up to practice in your high school in a Mercedes. What up, coach? I just signed an NIL deal with so and so. Have you played a down of college football?
Still got your senior year of high school football left.
I mean, everybody at practice should just hold up a sign. It should be designated at every school, and somebody should say Lenny Cook. What does that mean? Right. Lenny Cook was supposed to be, LeBron James foil, LeBron James look him in the eye, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, blah, blah, blah. Lenny Cook couldn't spell Larry Bird. So he's
spell his own name.
I'm not going to say that, but I'm just saying what I mean is he never became the player you thought he would because people around him tugging him everywhere. He peaked too early. And I always bring him up, but he was a big deal 20 plus years ago.
Right.
And then he ended up not being very good. So just because that's what I mean about kids getting paid in high school. That's insane. I mean, there's no way that should be happening.
All right, I know we got some phone callers out there. Let's get a break in. When we come back, Jeff from the Borough, Jeremy, we're going to get to you real fast. Give us 2 minutes, and we're going to get to you.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck at 431 in Miller Lane. That one came in as Caldwell in Miller Lane, being reported as a no injury. I think a trooper just rolled up on it. Got one in Decatur Memorial and 3rd Street that's got utility involvement, had a pole hit there. Shields Road north of Ford Circle is working as a no injury. 322 northbound I-65 in Morgan County on the ramp. That one got updated to an injury type. An overturned vehicle in the 1000 block of Bird Spring in Decatur. You could fly breeze nonstop to Orlando, Las Vegas, or Tampa starting at just $49. What are you waiting for? You could get to the fun faster, and you could book at flybreeze.com. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane, Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey Wes, our company Fleming Roofing and Restoration specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a 5th generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
At Woody Anderson Ford, it's your car, your way, every day. Hi, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford with some great lease and finance packages. Come test drive one of our all-electric 2023 Mach-E's and you'll see what all the fuss is about. Get financing as low as 2.9% for 60 months plus $4,000 in bonus cash. Or lease the Mach-E for $479 a month. And speaking of leases, how about a 2023 Bronco Sport for $399 or a 23 Edge for $449? These are 36-month leases with $52.71 on Mach-E, $37.09 on Bronco Sport, and $48.79 on Edge Do It signing. Zero security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. All offers in July 31st. Call 539-9441 for complete details. At Woody Anderson Ford, we also have F-150 STX with $3,500 in total trade assist. Plus, financing as low as 3.9% for 60 months. And with nearly 30 STXs to choose from, you may find exactly what you're looking for. Come on in today, Woody Anderson Ford. Hope to see you soon.
Welcome back. Stan McDonald from the Stanton Law Firm. I had lunch with Lewis just recently and with a client of ours, a mutual client, and great to hear all the good things going on at the Stanton Law Firm.
Thank you, Wes. The Stanton Law Firm, as you know, we've discussed before, we're dirt lawyers. We do a lot of real estate, litigation and closing. And, yes, my son Lewis McDonald enjoyed meeting you a couple of weeks ago, and a couple of your friends. He is, as you know, he's opened up a commercial closing division. So he's really helping a lot of people who are trying to close, buy, or sell on their commercial property. And you can't be in this community doing business without knowing Wes neighbors.
I don't know about that, but it sure was getting to meet another McDonald and talking a little bit about his grandfather, Coach Dye, and right. The different things. It was a lot of fun.
Well, your listeners are really going to enjoy meeting Lewis and you in this community. And like I said, at Jacob Title or the Stanton Law Firm, we close business. We do some good commercial closings, residential closings. We appreciate being part of your show.
There you go. Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you. We're live this morning. Bill Penny Toyota sitting out here in the service department. 256-576-4977. You can give us a call. And that's where we're going to go now. Jeff from the Borough with us this morning. Good morning, Jeff.
Morning, Jeff.
How you doing, guys?
Good.
Well, you guys talking about NIL. It's like my boss said. When it went to the Supreme Court, it was 9-0, a blowout. It wasn't even close. I mean, it wasn't even when they took the case up and voted on to whatever the case was going to be. When they usually have a dissent and a positive, they didn't even have any dissent on this one. You know, and Amy is like all these players and fans wanted it too. Oh, they need a piece of the pie. They're making so much money, billions and billions. They're just rolling in dough. I can't take my girlfriend out for a pizza. Well, Lord help us. Oh, well, I can't go to the movies and all this other stuff. And if we don't spend on college football, Drew, give me a break. This country's going to do wonderful. We're not worried about what college football is. Tommy Tubman's holding up a bunch of military appointments right now because of abortion policy. We don't even have a commandant or any of these major people in the military because he's held it up for months. He sits there and fools around, and people try to tell him to stop. He don't want to. He's still holding it up. So he needs to get off his stuff and do something. And he couldn't coach Auburn football. He sure don't know what goes on in Congress like that right now, Dad. And he would get his ass out and get somebody else in there. And college football's going to do fine. They'll do fine. Bama fans are going to go anyway. Don't make no difference to them. So, like I said, with college football's fine. We ain't worried about no name, image, and likeness. Y'all, if you didn't want to have it, y'all want these conference expansions, y'all want these rivalries to stop, then don't be expanding conferences. Don't be having a 30-team conference. And you won't have to worry about Auburn and Georgia not playing or Auburn and Alabama not playing. The Iron Bowl, oh, Lord, years ago you didn't play at all. Didn't even play. Finally you started playing in Legion Field. Tuscaloosa didn't even want to go to Auburn and play until Barry Bryant retired or died or whatever it was. And they finally played at Auburn then. And then Auburn beat you butt. A big Joe Jackson over the top, baby, 22-21. And that
wasn't it at Auburn, Jeff. Worry about Adolph Rupp.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
He was okay on. I understood where he was going with name, image, and likeness.
I understand
and then
his
when he took the curveball to talk about Alabama and Auburn,
he doesn't know anything
about
Alabama or Auburn football.
Oh, let's go to Jeremy real fast as well on the phone lines. Good morning, Jeremy.
What's up, Jeremy?
I won't be as bad of a roller coaster conversation as that.
We went up and we went down.
Few are.
We went up and
brought to you by Marlboro Light cigarettes.
Name, image, and likeness. the way I understood it, it started off because kids were mad and players were mad because there was a college football, basketball game out there, and they were not making money off of it. Their jerseys were getting sold.
In stores,
in stores, and they were not making any money off of that.
Exactly.
And so the coaches and everything, I think them and the boosters got together and said, now, wait a minute. We can get in here and we can do this name, image, and likeness, and we can do this stuff that we've been doing that we get in trouble for, and we legally can do it. And now it's kind of like an episode of Arrested Development where they want something really bad, and then they get it, and then they go, oh, wait, we made a big mistake here. Because it's turned into something totally different than what Ed, and to his credit, to what Ed O'Bannon was trying to get for players. I don't think when he went and complained about the fact that he wasn't making money off that video game, he wasn't looking at it like, hey, I'm gonna start getting these kids millions of dollars to just transfer and jump and flip and go wherever they want to go and use it for all this stuff. They deserve to get paid for their name, image, and likeness. And all these sponsorships and all this other stuff and the boosters making a collective and the schools having a collective, that has nothing to do with what name, image, and likeness was supposed to be in the beginning. And and to be honest, it is ruining college football. It's gonna be the demise of college football. The expansion, all that stuff has nothing to do with name, image, and likeness. But the transfer portal, it does. It has everything to do with name, image, and likeness because they're using name, image, and likeness to get these kids to jump. And I do understand it to a point where they need to limit transfer portal. You shouldn't be able to jump. But then I also agree these coaches shouldn't be able to just leave at a drop of a hat either. So it's a double-edged sword when you start arguing about it with folks, because you look at it and you say, well, this is the good thing for it and this is the bad thing for it. And either way, it's a no-win situation if you're a college football fan.
All right, Jeremy, thanks for the phone call. Great points, great comments there. That's very well said. And here's the thing, though. Once you rub the genie's bottle and the genie comes out, you can't put it back in.
Nope.
And college football is trying to put the genie back in the bottle with name, image, and likeness. And it's going to be very hard unless Congress comes in and does something to make it go back into the bottle. If not, Jeremy's right. That is exactly what is and could take down college football as we know it. All right, hour one is in the books. The Arkansas Razorbacks got KJ Jefferson, Raheem Sanders. What's the expectations with Sam Pittman? How are they doing on the recruiting trail? How are things in Fayetteville? We'll dial up Trey Biddy coming up next.
Mm-hmm.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Check out VSiN's catalog of original podcasts, daily and weekly programming to keep you in the know when you're on the go. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
NFL training camps getting underway this week. Looking at Super Bowl 58 odds. The Chiefs are the favorite to win it again at plus 600, followed by last year's runner-up Philadelphia at plus 800. The Bills are a plus $900 bet. The 49ers plus 1,000. The Bengals plus 1,100. The Bears are a plus $6,000 bet, while the Packers check in at plus 6,500. The Colts plus 12,500. Baseball tonight at Guaranteed Rate Field. The White Sox and Cubs square off again. Marcus Stroman gets the nod for the Cubs, while Lance Lynn takes the ball for the White Sox. The Cubs minus 115 on the money line. The White Sox plus 105. Get the latest lines and more at vsin.com.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And there you are. It is hour 2 of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. We're live from Bill Penny Toyota, sitting out here in the service department. Monday through Friday, 7 a.m., 7 p.m., Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. They can service your vehicle. Hey, if you need to, they've got Toyotas, short-term rentals. Just come on in here. Buy 3 tires. You get that 4th one for $1, I believe. That's still going on. You can cruise on over to the showroom, test drive a Toyota for a chance to win $5,000. So just come on out here. Bill Penny Toyota right along University Drive. Last week we were in Nashville all week for SEC Media Days at the Grand Hyatt. Expectations. This is that time of year where you look at every SEC program and you say, you know what, I can see them winning 6, 7, 8, 9 games, 10 games. They have this player, they have that player. The expectations are high around every team, all 14 SEC programs. And if you look at Arkansas, Drew, offensively, you have to sit here and say it starts with KJ Jefferson. It starts with Raheem Sanders at the running backs position. But then you start looking, and Arkansas is no different than any other program in the SEC. There's question marks. Is how's the offense going to look? New offensive coordinator. How's the defense going to look? New defensive coordinator. Some unknowns with some certainties at Arkansas.
Well, there's a new he's kind of just like Alabama going back to the future with Kevin Steele. They're doing that with Dan Enos. He had a great offense, earlier when he and Coach Pittman worked together. As part of Brett Bielema's staff at Arkansas. They had one of the best offenses in the SEC. So that's going to be pretty fascinating because he's certainly got tools to work with. And we are going to talk right now to one of the best in the business. It was great to reconnect with him in Nashville. He is the publisher and lead editor for hogsports.com, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. And it's always great to talk to Trey Biddy, who's been kind enough this morning to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Trey, you're with Drew and Scott. Good morning.
Morning, guys. Good to be on with you.
Yeah, it's great to have you, man. I said this all week in Nashville. I like Alabama and LSU as the top 2. I could make a case for 3 through 7. I could make a case for Arkansas, being 3rd. I will admit to you, Trey, I picked them 7th, but I did it reluctantly. I think they're going to a bowl game. I just can't figure out how good they're going to be. I know their schedule this year is still tough, especially SEC-wise.
That middle portion.
But last year they had the toughest schedule in college football, and I'm talking about who they played outside the conference. I still think that was a big reason why they ended up 7-6 and not 8 or 9 wins. It's not quite as difficult this year outside the league, but still, I guess I'm worried. Or I just don't know what to think defensively with Travis Williams coming in. I think he's a good young coordinator. But I have questions about Arkansas on defense. I think they're going to be pretty good offensively. But your thoughts on Arkansas and kind of the pulse of the team heading into fall camp?
Right. Well, I mean, the schedule's cake compared to the last 3 years. I mean, they probably had the toughest schedule in the nation each of the last 3.
No
2020
question.
might have been the toughest schedule in the history of college football. I do think the offense is going to be in good shape. KJ Jefferson, I mean, he's second-team preseason All-SEC quarterback. It's hard to imagine a preseason All-SEC quarterback with a team that finishes 7th in the division. But you're right. The defense, the way things went last year. I mean, you kind of have to go a lot on what went on last year. Thankfully for Arkansas, the transfer portal is something that can help them really close the gap. I do like the new defensive coaches that they added. Marcus Woodson, also, who's the passing game defensive coordinator. You look at what he did at Florida State. They were one of the worst pass defenses in the country before he got there, kind of like Arkansas was last year. Arkansas was 131 out of 131 passing yards given up last year, by the way. And then last year, I think they were in the top 10 nationally, like 6 nationally in pass defense. I do think that Arkansas is going to be significantly better on defense. Now, are they going to be an upper echelon? No, but it starts up front on the defensive line. Arkansas has 9 seniors on the defensive line this year, and a lot of that is because they were able to bring in 4 transfers on the defensive line, 2 quality ends, 2 quality defensive tackles to go along with what they have. I think they have a solid 3 deep up front on the defensive line. I like the depth a lot better at linebacker. Now, obviously, you got to replace Drew Sanders, Bumper Poole, but they have some talented young linebackers brought in, 2 transfers also who are highly experienced. And, got Jaheim Singletary, a former 5-star cornerback, Lorando Johnson, a former 4-star cornerback who started at Baylor, who had the second-best pass defense in the SEC last year. Alfahim Walcott, also from Baylor, who started for them last year, their second leading tackler at the safety spot. So they boosted some things significantly with the transfer portal. And a lot of that, the reason they had to do some of that stuff with bringing in so many transfers is because you had the quick turnaround in 2020 with a new head coach in Sam Pittman, and you arrived and you got 2 weeks to recruit. There are 2 players left from that 2020 class at Arkansas. 2 players.
Wow.
The 2021 class, you were hit with all the COVID restrictions. You're not able to go out on the road and recruit face-to-face. You had some missed evaluations. It's not as bad as the 2020 class, but you had some issues in 2021. If not for the transfer portal, then, Arkansas would be having some serious issues, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, they did last year. That's obvious. But they were able to, I think, go and shore a lot of things up with the transfer portal. I think the defense will be improved. It's just a matter of how much. In the offense, you've got a lot of weapons there with KJ back and Rocket Sanders, all the top running backs from last year. You got a better situation at backup quarterback, which KJ was banged up a couple of games last year, and they just didn't have a backup quarterback. Now they do, and Jacoby Criswell, so that should also be a benefit. And then some questions on the offensive line. They've recruited well at the offensive line. It's just it's new faces, and that's always a little scary.
And it does start. I mean, this offense will go with KJ Jefferson. It's going to go as far as he can take them. How have you seen him improve, though? I mean, second team All-SEC. When we were sitting in Nashville, it was like, okay, who are you going to put on the All-SEC team quarterback list? And there was only a few guys that you could name. KJ's name was one of those. But how have you seen him grow over the last couple of years, and what does he need to do this year to take Arkansas to that next level?
KJ was never one of those, like, farm-raised personal QB coach quarterbacks. He's from Sardis, Mississippi, not a lot of money in that area. He was a 4-star recruit out of high school because of his potential. 6'3", every bit of 6'3", 246, big, strong, powerful runner. When he got to Arkansas, he had a bit of a hitch, and he had a pretty significant hitch in his throwing motion, I would say, actually. And that was something they worked out. You still noticed, even last year, every once in a while, he'd throw a ball kind of nose down or, just miss his target a little bit. He still had the second highest completion percentage in program history last year. Still had the second highest efficiency rating in program history. Throws a really, really nice deep ball and always has. Even though he had mechanical issues early in his career, has always thrown a nice deep ball. But that just tells you, I mean, I'm pointing out concerns and stuff, and he had the second highest efficiency rating in program history. A lot of people probably don't realize how banged up he was last year also. He was hurt a significant part of the season, missed 2 games, was very hobbled in another one, and really shouldn't have played in that game, I don't think. If not for that, missing those 2 games, he would have thrown for over 3,000 yards last season. He would have ran for probably about 750 yards and probably would have been everybody's first-team All-SEC quarterback. Based on that, a lot of people, you get spread thin, and you're looking at it, and you just say, 2,600 yards, okay, that's okay. 600 rushing yards, all right, that's fine. But if he'd have stayed healthy, those numbers probably would have jumped off the page a little bit more to people. I think Dan Enos, we'll see how good of a play caller he is at Arkansas. He was a good one last time he was at Arkansas, but we'll see what the game has changed, obviously, since then. But I think from a technical standpoint, he's really going to help KJ. He's sent a lot of quarterbacks to the NFL over the years. A ton of guys that he has coached have gone on to the NFL at quarterback from his days at Michigan State, Alabama, so on and so forth. And Talia Tagovailoa has a chance also who he coached at Maryland. So there's a lot of, you guys remember from his time, he was just at Alabama 1 year as quarterbacks coach there. But he is known as a technician. I think he'll help KJ polish a few things up here and there and just make him a better quarterback, specifically on the shorter and intermediate throws. I think we'll see a lot more throws over the middle with him this year in Enos' offense, and a lot more screen passes at the same time.
Well, and yeah, he did a great job with Tua Tagovailoa in 2018. I do think he's a really good technician and will help KJ. But 2 years ago, I thought Traylon Burks was as good a receiver as I ever saw at Arkansas. And then last year, Hazelwood was good, but he wasn't quite Traylon, but who is? Who is he going to be throwing to? How good a shape is that wide receiver room in right now?
Yeah, that's a kind of a point you bring up, maybe unintentionally. You know, he's had a lot of turnover at wide receiver during his time. It was Traylon Burks and Tyson Morris his first year, Devion Warren. Last year was Matt Landers and Jaden Hazelwood as his go-to guys, and this year it'll be completely new crew. Now, they've done a good job bringing in players from the transfer portal. They brought in guys that, you know, really excelled on lower levels. Isaac TeSlaa had over 1,300 yards receiving at Division II Hillsdale. I think that he's a guy that has really separated himself. So, you know, it's an interesting recruitment for Isaac TeSlaa. He comes from a small Christian school in Michigan where he played quarterback in like a wing T offense and just wasn't heavily recruited. And then, boom, freshman year, he plays wide receiver for him and just explodes. Same sophomore year, junior year. So he's, trying his hand with the big boys now. Tyrone Broden comes from Bowling Green, had 500 receiving yards each of the last 2 years for them. 6'7", faster than I thought he was going to be, also pretty fast, 6'7". And then Andrew Armstrong is another new addition from 1AA Texas A&M Commerce, who had 60-something catches for over 1,000 yards. So they brought in a lot of guys that come from smaller schools, non-Power 5 schools that were really prolific. I really thought all three of those guys did some good things in the spring. TeSlaa, I think, to me, is a guy that could be a go-to type of receiver. And then as far as returning guys, they have, Isaiah Satania was a 4-star recruit, the top prospect in the 2022 class, is really starting to look good in the spring, and the slot's super shifty. He could be a guy that could catch a lot of balls for him this year. Sam Bakke is a former 4-star recruit in 2022 also. Jaden Wilson is another guy that they really like. So, I mean, they've got a large number of guys at wide receiver, but I really look for those three transfers and Isaiah Satania to be probably the primary guys when it all shakes out.
It feels like Sam Pittman, again, is having to prove that he can do this job. Now what is Sam Pittman going to do now that he has to replace two coordinators? Is this a big year for Sam?
Well, yeah, it's year 4. I mean, year 4 is your money year, right? I mean, people like Sam Pittman around here, and that definitely helps. But you can't just lose. He's got to win. They had a ton of turnover with this program. I think there was some locker room issues with them. Maybe with some coaches, maybe with, they fired the entire strength staff also, strength and nutrition staff. I mean, I'm talking the day after the Missouri game, the last game of the season last year. So he identified some issues, there. Obviously, with coordinator, with Kendall Browse, he was, exploring other options. I think, wanted to get back to Texas. And Browse is a good coordinator. I do think that Enos is potentially a better quarterback coach, and we'll just see how things work out. They're still going to do things that KJ Jefferson does well. I think if you were talking about bringing in a brand-new quarterback with a brand-new system, then, you might have more concern for Arkansas, but you're bringing in, a guy that started the last 2 years for you, and they're going to continue to do things that KJ does well. They'll add some new wrinkles and stuff. Defensively, I think they'll be very attacking. I really like what I saw out of this defensive coaching staff in terms of, their energy, the way the players react to them. Sam Pittman opened up 13 of the 15 spring practices, so we got a good look at all of that. Really mentioned Marcus Woodson. I love, what I see out of Travis Williams, Darren Wilson, and all those guys, but Marcus Woodson, passing game defensive coordinator, was really, really impressive. And like I said, they gave up 294 yards per game last year. And a lot of that it's interesting because they had 42 sacks.
Yes, they did.
The SEC with 42 sacks last year.
Yes.
But they were the worst pass defense in the country. That just doesn't really add up, except for they just didn't have, the D-backs to cover. When they would, I guess, roll the dice a little bit more. But, I don't remember them bringing just a ton of pressure last year, extra men. But they were really decimated in the secondary with injuries, particularly at the safety spot. The corners are actually, pretty solid. You wouldn't know that considering, but they were actually pretty solid. It's the safeties where they really needed a lot of help.
Yeah, it really is, and hopefully they'll get that help. And Marcus Woodson, I think he's an underrated recruiter too. So I think he's going to really help
Arkansas. He just got Selman Bridges, who's a top 50 recruit nationally out of Texas, beat Texas head-to-head.
There you go. Hey, that's a perfect
that's
segue
just one
there.
example.
Yeah, no question. But we certainly are looking forward to Arkansas' season, and I certainly think they've got a ceiling where they could finish as high as third in the SEC West. No question about it. Coach Pittman, one of our favorite guys. Certainly, I thought he probably had the best press conference, at least the most fun anyway, in Nashville, no doubt about it. But, Trey, we always appreciate the time. You guys do a great job over at Hog Sports, and let everybody know how to connect with you.
Yeah, you can reach us at hawgsports.com, part of the 24/7 Sports Network, and you can follow me on Twitter at Trey Biddy, TreyBiddy. For any of you lonely Arkansas fans out there listening in Alabama, come check us out.
We've got a few. Well, we appreciate it. Thank you, man.
Thanks, guys.
See, had we talked to Trey Biddy before we went to Nashville, I wouldn't have voted Arkansas
because of the 9. Even though some of us transfers, you're talking about the 9 senior defensive line.
I feel better about Arkansas after talking to Trey.
I was reluctant to do it.
That just tells you how picking apart the West is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's so it creates conversation, but that's why it's so hard to just predict what teams are going to do, especially in the transfer portal era, because you don't know how they're going to fit together, and then you don't know it could be like a marriage made in heaven with Travis Williams and Marcus Woodson in this defense. Because like Trey said, they could get to the quarterback last year, but their back end was horrible. And if it improves and they're disruptive and they force turnovers, they could jump as high as third in the West.
Well, and also just shows you that sometimes voting for preseason teams are tough as well, because KJ Jefferson could come out and put it all together this year and be,
And he knows he's more of a pro-style guy.
Yeah.
He's not the spread guy that Kendall Briles is, but is that going to work? Is that going to work with KJ Jefferson, who has so much experience?
All right, let's get a break in. More Talking Ball when we return from Bill Penny Toyota.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got major northbound blockage, 431 in Caldwell. That one may have had a minor injury involved. Had one in Decatur at Memorial and 3rd Street. Utility damage there. We got 172 eastbound at Nance. HPD standing by there till the trooper gets on the scene. Popeye's Shrimp Tackle Box has 8 crispy Louisiana seasoned butterfly shrimp, a signature side, and a buttermilk biscuit, $6. Popeye's University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Philip Love of not only Eagle Installation, now he represents Eagle Companies. Eagle through the years have added several companies to help individuals or builders through their construction renovation process. Eagle is known to represent quality, efficiency, and professionalism. Philip, I know you do insulation, but do you do masonry?
We do.
Do you do grading, erosion control, and dirt hauled off?
We do.
Do you do after paint, which includes shower doors, mirrors, shelving blinds, and bath hardware?
Yes, we do, Wes.
Do you do landscaping and irrigation?
Yes, we do.
So basically, Eagle can help you all along your process of building your house or doing renovations. So do you do plumbing?
We do not, Wes, but we can find somebody to do it.
Just give them time. They'll be there. Anyway, call Eagle Insulation at
256-755-1556.
Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Call Eagle today.
Thanks, Wes.
The Huntsville Sports Commission is responsible for bringing high-level sports entertainment to the Rocket City. In 2023, enjoy events like the CCSA Beach Volleyball Championships, Hometown Lenders Championship, UCI Paracycling Road World Cup, and so much more. To learn more about upcoming events and the Huntsville Sports Commission, visit huntsvillesports.com. The Huntsville Sports Commission. We do sports.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Philip Love of not only Eagle Insulation, now he represents Eagle Companies. Eagle through the years have added several companies to help individuals or builders through their construction renovation process. Eagle is known to represent quality, efficiency, and professionalism. Philip, I know you do insulation, but do you do masonry?
We do.
Do you do grading, erosion control, and dirt hauled off?
We do.
Do you do after paint, which includes shower doors, mirrors, shelving blinds, and bath hardware?
Yes, we do, Wes.
Do you do landscaping and irrigation?
Yes, we do.
So basically, Eagle can help you all along your process of building your house or doing renovations. So do you do plumbing?
We do not, Wes, but we can find somebody to do it.
Just give them time. They'll be there. Anyway, call Eagle Insulation at
256-755-1556.
Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Call Eagle today.
Thanks, Wes.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you, hanging out. Bill Penny, Toyota. Make sure you head to your App Store Marketplace, download that 97.7 ESPN The Zone app because, well, over our airways last night, you would have heard this.
1-0 hit in the air towards center field. Michael Harris coming in. Michael is under it, makes the catch. Duvall took off for second. They throw to first. They double him off. They throw to third. On the move, Yoshida, and that's a triple play. How about that? Thrown all over the place to get 3. It went from Harris to Olsen to Riley. So a triple play turned on the Red Sox, and that closes shop on Boston here in the bottom of the third. Hadn't seen one quite like that.
And then after that, it was the roof caving in.
Well, you hadn't seen a triple play for the Braves since 2004.
They're rare. I saw it live, but they were playing the Boston Bruins. I mean, Red Sox. It looked like the Bruins to me. But anyway.
What, last night?
Yeah. I don't really get.
Well, they lost 7-1. The Braves lost 7-1.
I don't
last
get
night.
these City Connect jerseys that are yellow, okay? It makes no sense.
You did? Did they wear? I did not see the game physically. So the Red Sox
and they were wearing the
jerseys.
And they were wearing the UCLA Bruin hats. That's what it looks
in honor
like.
of the Boston Marathon.
I know what it is.
Remember, we
just
looked it
doesn't
up.
make sense. It looks like I just kept telling my friend they're playing the Boston Bruins. That's what it looked like almost, or the UCLA Bruins. I mean, it just was weird. I'll never forget the first time I saw the jerseys. I was like, that's Boston City Connect. Of course, I know the Boston Marathon's a huge part of the city and the fabric of the community, but it threw me. I was like, what in the hell is that? I mean, it's just the colors are totally just throwing you. Like, it doesn't even look like the Red Sox.
Well, in their last 10 games, the Braves are 4-6. So they've gotten out of the gates on the second half of the season a little bit slow.
Well, like I say, they've made a couple moves. It's going to be interesting to see if they – I don't think Anthopoulos is done. But offense is not the problem, even though I know they only scored 1 run last night. They need some –
That's going to happen in baseball. You're not going to score –
honestly, it may end up needing that they have to address the starting pitching, because they've addressed the bullpen, unless you can get a Josh Hader. Just because, you look at it, and, Iglesias has been better lately, but he's still a little shaky. And then you look at their starting rotation. Elder has kind of hit the wall a little bit. I think Max Fried's coming back. We really haven't heard anything from our great friend Kyle Wright. We don't even know if he's coming back or not. There hasn't been any indication that he's coming back, and you certainly don't want him to rush back.
I haven't even seen reports of him throwing.
Like starting the throwing program or anything.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything
and
like
now
that.
Max has been doing rehab stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't even seen that. So that's what's going to be interesting to see. And then they sent Soroka down. So he's still, trying to gain his traction and come back and be an effective starting pitcher. And you're trying to win the World Series. So that's what's going to be interesting. But as I've said before, probably the most valuable commodity, Scott, on the trade market is starting pitching. And besides Shohei Ohtani, which, the Yankees and the Mets.
I tell you what, every team
fighting over him.
It's so funny because Kansas City put a. Did you see this? The Kansas City Royals had the best tweet yesterday of all time.
Yeah.
And it said the Kansas City Royals are one of Major League Baseball teams not in the trading market for Shohei Ohtani.
Good Lord.
Because everybody is trying to connect their name to Shohei Ohtani.
There's still talk about the Braves, and I'm like, how? I mean, what
are you going to give up?
Yeah, what are you going to give up to get Shohei Ohtani?
By the way, did you listen to Colin Cowherd the other day?
I don't listen to Colin Cowherd, so what did he say?
Well, because he was brilliant the other day.
I'm sure, just ask him.
So in Major League Baseball, it's different than the NFL.
Right.
You cannot trade draft picks in Major League Baseball.
You cannot trade draft picks, and you.
Colin Cowherd thought, and they got on a discussion about what kind of how many first round picks could you trade for Shohei Ohtani?
Come on, bro. I mean, you can trade a pick after you draft the guy, like Dansby Swanson years ago, but you can't trade the
round picks
because you don't even know who's going to suck. I mean, that's the way it is, and now they even have a lottery in the Major League draft, so it's even more complicated.
Yes.
You can't do that.
They went on about, they could trade a player and a couple future first round picks.
No, you can't do that.
I was like, it's Colin Cowherd. Love him. I know. But anyway, the good news is the Braves are 4-6, but the
Mets are not really winning.
The National League East, over their last 10, the Phillies are 5-5. The Marlins are 1-9.
Oh, the Marlins have just
Mets
tanked.
are 5-5.
By the way, did you not? I didn't even realize this. How bad the second half had been going for the Yankees. They were like in dead last. That's a beautiful thing.
They are. They're 53-48.
Their division's. Their division's difficult.
Every team in the AL East.
Yeah, they're all in the playoff
chase. They all are.
Yeah.
The
but
Rays,
they're dead ass last.
The Baltimore Orioles, by the way, are leading the AL East.
Isn't that
by
crazy?
a game and a half over the Tampa Bay Rays, who have a 5-game edge for the top wild card spot. The Toronto Blue Jays have a wild card spot. They're in one of the seats for the wild card spot. The Red Sox are a game and a half out of a wild card, and the Yankees are 2.5 games out of a wild card.
Yep.
So that AL
all divisions
East
in the
is
playoffs. I mean, Chase.
Tough, and that's where the Braves are parked right now. Before the All-Star game, they had the Tampa Bay Rays coming out of the All-Star game after a series. They have the Boston Red Sox. So the road to hoe for Atlanta is pretty tough. Hey, the road to hoe to bring your car here to Bill Penny Toyota is pretty easy. Just pull on in here to the service department. They'll take care of you. That's where we are. And we'll be right back from here as well. It's Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly to partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 90s. Heat indices anywhere between 104 and 106 degrees. Maybe an isolated shower, but otherwise it is just going to be an incredibly hot afternoon. Temperatures only drop into the mid 70s as we head into the overnight, early into your Thursday morning. A mostly to partly sunny sky Thursday afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
They're reporting major northbound blockage, 431 in Caldwell. Got utility damage in Decatur, Memorial, and 3rd Street. 72 eastbound at Nance turned out to be a no injury. They were waiting on a trooper to get to that one. And Shields, north of Ford Circle, sounds like they didn't want to report on it. Snelling specializes in accounting, admin, and customer support positions. Whether you need temporary employees for a special project or someone to join your team, Snelling can help. Snelling, how the area's best companies hire talent. 256-382-4000. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Do you have discomfort in your legs? Varicose veins can affect not only how your legs look, but how they feel. Symptoms of varicose veins include pain, swelling, aching, heaviness, and fatigue. Dr. Tracy Lowery of Best Vein Care of Huntsville can diagnose and treat your varicose veins with the latest minimally invasive techniques. Diagnosis and treatment is covered by most insurances. Call 256-715-7151 to schedule your free screening. Go to bestveincarehuntsville.com.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. If you've been injured and need a lawyer right now, and pick up the phone to call, you know, one you've seen on a billboard or on TV begging for your business, do you know who you really get?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. You want to talk to your lawyer. You don't want to reach a call center, not in some office 100 miles away. With the Lackey Law Firm, that never happens. My clients talk to me.
And me. I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're the ones that you talk to. We're the ones that you meet with.
And we're the ones who handle your personal injury case. You want to talk to me? You just call me.
And we'll take care of it. You worry about getting well. We'll take care of the rest.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And I'll go you one better. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. I wonder.
Yeah.
Did the slippery noodle did not do breakfast, did it?
I don't think so,
It just did lunch and dinner. And the only reason why I bring the slippery noodle up in Indianapolis is because Lucas Oil Field or Lucas Oil Stadium is Big Ten Media Days.
It is.
That is getting underway here in a few minutes. So all of those fine folks there at Lucas Oil Field, if they needed some lunch, I'm sure the Big Ten is taking care of that. If they need some lunch, they could just walk up a block and go to the Slippery Noodle for lunch today. That's the only reason why I bring the slippery noodle into a conversation.
Well, one of the favorite things we get to do, and it was in their backyard this year, because Crane and Company is based out of Nashville, Tennessee, and of course it's put on by the Real Daily Wire and powered by them. We are going to have, once again, I had a chance to speak with him during the week, and always great catching up with him. He's a big part of Crane and Company. He suited up for the Michigan Wolverines, and I know he has a daily feature on their show called Get Off My Lawn, and I know I didn't get a chance to watch this morning, but I know that had to be a big part of the big topic, and that is, of course, the Michigan Wolverines and Jim Harbaugh. And we wanted to bring David Adam Cohn back on with us. David Cohn going to join us and talk about that and college football with us and his thoughts on SEC Media Days overall. But we're going to bring him back on to talk about his Michigan Wolverines and Jim Harbaugh, and he's with us this morning on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. David, you're with Drew and Scott. Good morning.
Look, good morning. I can't speak to the slippery noodle, but I have been to the Little Brown Jug, and don't you dare order a hamburger, or you're going to be suspended for a third of the season.
Yeah, well, especially if you want cheese.
Yeah, especially if you want cheese,
Especially if you want cheese on that.
I tell you, if you get the fried cheese balls there, it's automatically an 8-game penalty.
I mean, we were talking about that, and it's
why
like,
are they
okay,
wasted time on this?
It's like why is that a level 1 infraction? Because it don't we go back to the whole bagel and cream cheese infraction?
Guys, in an era where college athletes are making millions of dollars from collectives for their name, their image, their likeness, why are we even discussing this? We're talking about a hamburger, and now a 4-game penalty is excessive. Now, let's get to the other side of that, which is, look, you may criticize the rules, you may think the rules need to be changed, but rules are still rules, and when they're broken, there needs to be a punishment. Okay, well, I want some evidence, 1, that a rule was broken in the first place, okay? And then 2, I want some evidence that Jim Harbaugh lied about this because, everybody understands the concept that a cover-up is worse than the crime, and this is all because Jim Harbaugh lied. My sources up there tell me that Jim Harbaugh said to the NCAA, I don't recall what you're talking about. I don't know what the details on that, which becomes more and more plausible when you understand that this happened in 2020 during the COVID year. Do you know how many guys recruits this guy has probably taken to lunch or gotten a hamburger around Ann Arbor? It's an absolute joke, and it's another example of the NCAA going out on a witch hunt, right? Going out on a witch hunt to try and, have some sort of moral authority. Well, this is the same organization they allow a man to hoist a trophy in women's swimming. I don't want to hear this for them. And you can't tell me that if this was, a coach in the SEC or if this were Nick Saban, that we would even be talking about a day penalty for a hamburger, much less 4 games.
Well, I totally agree with you, and we're talking to David Adam Cohn here of Crane and Company. I completely agree. I think they should be more worried about getting name, image, and likeness, getting the guardrails up, getting the future of college football, getting everybody's legs underneath them, because that's what coaches are worried about. All these stupid – because the NCAA, it's all legal now, so why are you worried about a piece of cheese?
Yeah, exactly. And on that front, we are actually having Senator Tommy Tuberville on our show tomorrow to discuss the PASS Act. So he is putting forth this legislation with Senator Joe Manchin. This is bipartisan legislation on the PASS Act. So that'll be on tomorrow's show. It's brand new. But again, and one of the questions that I want to ask him is, why are you even having to get involved? We already have a governing body for college athletics. Can we get a modicum of leadership from the NCAA? Because we're not getting that. But I will say one thing to your audience who are Michigan fans. I do think this will be a net positive on the football field for the Wolverines for a few reasons. One, everybody's talked about how Michigan's non-conference schedule is a joke, and it has been down the past few years, and I've been critical of it as well. But those first 4 games are winnable regardless. Now, you never want to be without your head coach, and no game is ever a given. I was on a Michigan team that lost to Appalachian State. It still scars me. So you got to go handle your business, but you can win those first 4 games even if Coach Harbaugh is out. But now all of a sudden, all I've been hearing for the past couple months is how great Michigan is, and their roster's elite, and they're one of the favorites to win the college football playoff. Why? The last 2 playoff appearances that I've seen for Michigan hasn't warranted any sort of national championship hype. But now all of a sudden, You get to erase all that. You get to circle the wagons, put your backs against the wall, and flip the narrative, and you get to go in and say, look, they're after us. They're out to get us. They don't want us to succeed. And now you can go in and say, you know what, let's do what the Atlanta Braves did 2 years ago. Let's win the World Series right after they strip the All-Star game from us and make them give us that trophy on the field and hand it to us in person.
It's all because Michigan has beaten Ohio State in back-to-back years. That has got to be
that
where
narrative
all the
is definitely
love
flipped.
and the attention is coming from, yeah.
Well, you can't. I've said this. It was a 9-game drought there. When I first met Jake and Blaine Crane on the J Boy Show, it was a 9-game drought for Michigan in that series. And I said, look, Jim Harbaugh can't accomplish anything he wants at Michigan unless you beat Ohio, because they're in the same division. So if you don't beat Ohio, you can't win the division. If you don't win the division, you can't win the conference. If you don't win the conference, it's very difficult to make it to the college football playoff. And he hadn't done any of those things until these past 2 seasons. All of a sudden, he beats his biggest rival in the Buckeyes twice in a row, and what happened? You win the division twice in a row. You win the Big Ten Conference twice in a row, and you make the college football playoff 2 years in a row. Now, the next hurdle is obviously, hey, let's be competitive when we get there. Let's stop losing awful to Georgia. Let's stop losing to TCU. And right when we're on the cusp of that, we get hit with a 4-game penalty. Everybody will be talking about it for a week or two, but I think that it could be a net positive on the field for the guys.
Well, and speaking of that, positives, what did you take out of SEC Media Days? You guys were a part of it all 4 days. You got a chance to speak to a lot of student athletes. You got a chance to speak to some coaches. Your thoughts, David, on what you saw and heard during talking season last weekend in Nashville.
It was just so fantastic. I mean, first of all, Greg Sankey just does an unbelievable job running this conference. And to have it here in our backyard now of Nashville was really, really cool because, like you said, we've been here for 18 months now after we joined the Daily Wire. We came over from Atlanta in the College Football Hall of Fame where the event was last year. So it was a tremendous event, a great week. I know the coaches and the coaches don't like it. They see it as a distraction, but it is great to be able to hear from these guys. We got to sit down with Sam Pittman, head coach at Arkansas. And when you listen to him talk about the pride he has to be the head coach at Arkansas, I'm like, man, I want my son to go play for that guy right now. When you hear some of these guys talk, we got to sit down with Brock Bowers. We got to sit down with LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels. There's so much positive energy. I can't wait to see what those guys do on the field. And it's a special time. Your college athletic career is a very special time in life, and I'm glad they were able to share some perspective with us. And we love getting to see all you guys, too.
Yeah, was there something that caught your eye, though? I mean, were you what did you think of, and Lane Kiffin's performance has drawn a lot of, criticism. A lot of people look at Lane, they look at his body language from SEC Media Days, and they're like, okay, something was off that day with Coach Kiffin.
I thought he was spitting the truth, though, about NIL.
Yeah, spitting the truth, but his look and his appearance looked off.
He's right about NIL. I'm not going to criticize him a bit on that. We need more people saying that. And like I said, we're going to hopefully get some answers soon if this legislation comes or what. But, yeah, I mean, just personally, I haven't even told anybody this, but you asked me about it, so I'll tell you. I did walk by Coach Kiffin at SEC Media Days, and I said the same thing that I say to most of the coaches. I said, good luck this season. Not only didn't make eye contact with me, like rolled his eyes and kept his head down. And, I don't know if he knows me personally. I don't think he does. I'm not a big Lane Kiffin fan. I know he's an offensive guru, and I like some of the stuff and, getting involved with the social media and trying to engage with these kids in a new way. I understand all of it, but, in a way that, like I just told you, I was blown away by Sam Pittman, like I'm blown away by Shane Beamer, who recruited me when he was on Sylvester Croom's staff at Mississippi State, now building something special at South Carolina. Those are the guys that, I really gravitate towards. And I don't know, I agree. I was just disappointed in Coach Kiffin's body language. But you never know. You catch a guy on an off day, you never know.
Right.
Well, I'm glad it's a perfect segue, though. I know you had a chance to talk to Shane Beamer. Ever since I heard him 2 years ago, I've been extremely impressed with him. I was talking to another media member about him, kind of comparing him and Lane Kiffin, and I said I would take Shane Beamer 10 times out of 10. I think he's underrated for what he's done at South Carolina, what they did at the end of last year, and I know it's a big topic on Crane and Company. They beat Clemson. They were able to upset Tennessee. They nearly beat Notre Dame in a bowl game without a bunch of guys that had opted out. I know you spoke with him one-on-one. What were your thoughts after you spoke to Coach Beamer?
Well, first of all, like I said, he recruited me when he was on Sylvester Croom's staff at Mississippi State, so there's already a special connection there. I mean, that was my first SEC offer. I mean, I almost went and played for the guy. I ended up not being able to turn down a scholarship offer from the University of Michigan, but he was a great recruiter. He was very kind to me and to my family, so it was wonderful getting to see him and ask him a few questions, especially about how his recruiting philosophy has changed in an era with NIL and when kids are more often asking what's the money situation rather than what type of school am I going to and all that kind of stuff. But I completely agree with your sentiment. I would rather have Shane Beamer be my head coach. I would rather my son go play for Shane Beamer. Now, if we're talking about a coordinator situation, Lane Kiffin's one of the best coordinators you're going to find. For whatever baggage that used to come with, I do think that Lane Kiffin has grown and matured in his latest stint here with Ole Miss. I don't think this is the same guy who was, on staff at Alabama or who when he was the head coach at Tennessee and the Raiders and all that stuff. I do think he's grown, so I don't want to be too hard on him. He still has a great offensive mind, but just from a leadership head coaching perspective and the ability to be a people person and go recruit, I just love everything that Shane Beamer is doing. Now, South Carolina, it's a tough place to win. I mean, you're playing an SEC schedule. You're having to go up against, the likes of Georgia and Tennessee every year. But, hey, that's all the teams, And I know it's frustrating for South Carolina fans to look across the state, and you've seen the monster that Dabo Swinney has built up at Clemson. But if I were looking at that, I'd say, hey, see, look, it's possible. I mean, I'm 35. When I was growing up, I didn't see Clemson as some sort of football powerhouse, right? You would think South Carolina had the edge on the football field. One coach, Dabo Swinney, comes in, he turns it around. That's all it really takes. So I'm hoping for great things for South Carolina with Shane Beamer.
Well, great stuff.
I do want to ask you real fast, and I want to get your thoughts. The Big Ten Media Days start today. Last night, the Northwestern players made an announcement that they are going to skip Media Days. Their interim head coach is going to go, but the three players voted themselves not to go to Media Days and skip it because of everything going on. Was that the right move for them?
I have no problem with it. Honestly, I saw what you're talking about. It's completely understandable. I thought the statement they put out was very respectable. It made a lot of sense, saying and being honest. It wasn't this cookie cutter response. It said, hey, very specifically, we don't want our presence there to serve as the distraction where every question we're asked is about sexual hazing. I think that they have a right to do that. I'm not that bothered by it. I'm not as bothered by it as I am with what is going on at Northwestern writ large. I have no idea how things have gotten so out of hand at that program, assuming that these allegations are true, especially when it comes to this, the hazing in a sexual nature. I mean, we've been seeing this more and more around the country the last few years, which is unacceptable. I did see one story there where a volleyball player, is also suing for hazing at Northwestern, saying the coach made her run sprints because of a punishment during COVID. I hate to say it, but, a coach-sanctioned punishment, that's not hazing. So I think you're going to have some people piggybacking off of the, the awfulness that's happened there. But if the players don't want to be at media days because of this, extenuating circumstances, I didn't really have a problem with it. Do you guys feel different?
No, I feel the same. I was just... I think that's fine. If those kids just they want to focus on football, it's extenuating circumstances. I can completely understand it. But David, man, we appreciate it. It was great seeing you again in Nashville during the week. I know you guys continue to grow Crane and Company. It's 6:30 to 8 Central Time each and every Monday through Friday. And of course, you broke it on our show. Big time conversation coming up with Tommy Tuberville. But let everybody know how to connect with you guys on social media and of course your show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, guys. We really appreciate it. But follow me on social media, on Twitter and Instagram. That's David Adam Cohn, And please check out our show, Crane and Company. We're live every single morning, like you said, 6:30 to 8 Central. That's 7:30 a.m. to 9 Eastern, talking a whole lot of college football. You can watch us on YouTube. You can watch us on thedailywire.com, or you can listen as a podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast news.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks.
Thanks,
y'all.
All right, let's get that final break in. Tomorrow's headlines will wrap us up from Bill Penny coming up next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Sounds like we got a trooper on the scene of that wreck now, 72 eastbound at Nance, so it should move pretty quick. Had one on the northbound side of 431 at Caldwell. That one was causing some big headaches. And we had one in Decatur on Memorial at 3rd Street. That one had utility damage. May still be trying to clear that one. And it looks like we got 565 eastbound around Holmes. That one's coming in as a no injury. Do you know who to call when you need a heart doctor? You could write this name down now so you have it in the future. Dr. Randall Burns is at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue, where they have the expertise to care for all matters of the heart. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Since 1998, Scooter's Coffee has delivered high-quality drinks with quick service and a big smile. And the folks at Scooter's Coffee know a great cup of coffee or other drink can bring a smile to just about anyone. Yes, we specialize in great coffee, but Scooters also has smoothies, teas, and delicious food items too. And this week, Scooters is our zone deal. Right now, get $50 worth of Scooters in Huntsville for just $25 online at 977ESPN.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing. We have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates. Residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
At Woody Anderson Ford, it's your car, your way, every day. Hi, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford with some great lease and finance packages. Come test drive one of our all-electric 2023 Mach-E's and you'll see what all the fuss is about. Get financing as low as 2.9% for 60 months plus $4,000 in bonus cash. Or lease the Mach-E for $479 a month. And speaking of leases, how about a 2023 Bronco Sport for $399 or a 23 Edge for $449? These are 36-month leases with $52.71 on Mach-E, $37.09 on Bronco Sport, and $48.79 on Edge Do It signing. Zero security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. All offers in July 31st. Call 539-9441 for complete details. At Woody Anderson Ford, we also have F-150 STX with $3,500 in total trade assist. Plus, financing as low as 3.9% for 60 months. And with nearly 30 STXs to choose from, you may find exactly what you're looking for. Come on in today, Woody Anderson Ford. Hope to see you soon.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, people call the award-winning burgers totally insane, which is a compliment because Bad Daddy's Burgers are just that, chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness built with premium Angus beef. They're bold and they're bad. Pair one with one of their signature cocktails or assortment of local craft brews. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, 2317 Memorial Parkway. Check out our menu and even order online at BadDaddy'sBurgerBar.com.
It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Couple things here. Justin Herbert.
$262 million, right?
262.5 for 5 years.
Gotcha.
by the way, Jalen Hurts was 255.0. Lamar Jackson, 260.0.
Right.
Joe Burrow is next.
Oh, he'll break all of them.
So
he's the one that's about to break it.
Yep, it's going up. So Joe Burrow was just sitting back in a recliner waiting for Justin Herbert to get his deal done. Yeah. And
Show
he was
me the
like,
money.
Yep. Oh, yes, old Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Jerry Maguire. Show me the money.
Yeah.
And Joe Burrow.
You knew that's what Burrow and his agent were going to do. They're going to wait out everybody else.
They were waiting it out. Yep. And so Joe Burrow's next, but Justin Herbert is the current, and he's gotten the thing. We laughed at the
what has he won? That's all
American Athletic Conference because they had their media days. Well, UAB now, remember, is a part of the
Trent Dilfer.
Okay. So Trent Dilfer yesterday was asked about the scrutiny that he has been getting for being the head coach at UAB without even being a coordinator on the college level.
Well, I mean, it's almost like Biff. Biff's the same thing. You know, Coach Poggi. We talked about that earlier.
Given your unconventional path to becoming a head coach at the college level, do you think you're going to receive a little bit more scrutiny than your average Group of Five or Power Five first-year head coach?
Absolutely.
How do you prepare to deal with it? I mean, you've been a media guy. You're really good at it. So how do you prepare to deal with that kind of – there's going to be a double standard, good or bad. So how do you prepare to deal with that?
I don't want this to sound wrong. It's going to, so I'll just go for it. I don't care what you think, what he thinks, what Tom Herman thinks, what Nick Saban thinks. I don't care. I care what Jacob Zito thinks, what Jackson Bratton thinks. I go to bed every night thinking about what they think about. I care about what my coaches think. I care about what my AD thinks. But I honestly do not care at all what is written about me, what's said about me, what's people in the hallway, whether they look at me, whether they like me, what they talk about their wives about me.
I don't care.
No, he doesn't, and it's obvious. Certainly, it's a fascinating hire.
Yeah,
just to see kind of how Trent does. I mean, I always liked him in the media. I was kind of sad when he left because he was one of the guys that I respected at ESPN. ESPN's had a ton of turnover. That's well documented. There's a lot of their analysts now that I don't respect as far as their football acumen, and his transition to college coach. He did a great job at Lipscomb Academy, but it's going to be really, really interesting to see what he does at UAB.
All right, we're wrapping it up from Bill Penny Toyota. It's Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
These days, saving time is important, and saving